What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of 4G QTV MCU After Show with Paris and I. And Paris is over there. So, what's going on, Paris?
It's going pretty good, man. It's going pretty good. Episode 3 was awesome. I'm very excited to talk about it. First I want to pay our condolences from 4GQ TV to the Gasper Uliel's family. Our RIP. He did a great job in this episode. Was very excited to see his character, and he did a great job. So sorry about the loss. It's pretty sad, but I'm pretty happy about the show. But yeah, let's jump into it.
All right. So, Moon Knight episode 3, which, man, for me, this was a fantastic episode, right? Pretty much it opened up right to action, right? I mean, there was that little dance fight on the rooftop, the knife dance, and a lot of, however they acted out, there was a lot of talent because, I mean, that's a very physical part of acting, right? I mean, it
Yeah,
was like an actual dance almost, right? A knife
I
dance
know,
off.
I know. Right. You see him running to the rooftop. I'm like, man, what's he doing up there? And then they cut over and they stab the guy. And they're like, oh, this is. He was like, I needed to talk to him, but now I need to talk to you guys. After they killed him, they were ready to go. Those three guys were with the swords, man. That was pretty good acting. It's always tough to do like knife fights and then sort of, you don't want to really cut anybody. So it was cool that you to see, weapons other than guns being used in a fight scene. So I like it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It was pretty extensive, and then after the fight, it led to him, Mark Spector or whichever personality came in, right, having a blackout, and next thing you know, he's in the cab and he sees the people running that he was trying to ask information for where to find Amit's tomb. I mean, that's what he was looking for. And what do you think of that, Paris? You think this could be anything of importance with between Mark and Steven and Moon Knight?
Yeah. I Kanji had been looking for the tomb for the longest time, so I don't know if he was. I don't know what his ultimate goal is. I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is to stop Ahmed, but maybe there's something else going on that we don't know. And that's why Steven and Mark have multiple personalities. So I know Kanji knows what's going on because he basically said he owns the body. And we saw, and later on in the episode, all the other avatars show up, and they're just being used by the gods in this realm. So yeah, I'm sure there's going to be something epic coming. We'll see sort of what happens to that, but as that kid commits suicide off the roof, it's just like, oh, okay, I didn't see that coming. He was like, oh, he was like, praise Ahmed. I'm like, whoa, he just no. They were like, yeah. Kanji was like, yeah, I didn't see that coming. So it was cool. Well, death scene, it's a death scene, but the way that the show was framing up was starting to get pretty good. So as we fast forward a little bit, they get to the car. Well, they're on the boat, Layla and Mark. They're having that conversation, talking about sort of like their past and trying to catch up. And she was like consoling him, like, you should have let me in, and like what happened. You could have told me. We could have worked through it together. But Mark was just, maybe he was just, I don't know what he was afraid of. Maybe it's because of Khonshu and what he was gonna do to try to take Layla over as his new avatar. Maybe that's why. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that we just don't know. The reasons why Mark pretty much ditched his wife. You could tell that she's still in love with him. and I'm sure he's still in love with her, but he's scared, right? There's something that he's holding back, and there's something else going on, as you know, as they were talking about with the Haro when he came into the picture. But yeah, so what did you think about, they get to the beach, they get to, they're playing the horse matches. I forgot the name of the term of the sport that they were talking about. When they get there, what did you think about Anton and what he was doing there? What, like, how did he even get that body? Well, how did he get the mummified body? And stuff like that. What did you think about those scenes there?
When it came to that part, uh, my recollection of that, in a more clear sense, was what really stuck out was, Steven going in there and trying to piece together a little bit of the puzzle, and
Mm-hmm.
then next thing you know is like the bodyguards or whatever you want to call them noticed something was going on when Steven was kind of Mark and Steven were talking back and forth with himself. And then man, right into action. So like that's what I really remember of that scene is like that action and they, were stabbing Moon Knight with those poles. Man, that was crazy, Paris. That was insane how Moon Knight fought that off. And he really came through for Layla. She was in a lot of trouble. But just to go back a little bit, it was interesting how Layla was prepared with that half jewelry that she took off her neck, and it was almost like a half moon in a sense.
Yeah, yeah.
She was like prepared. So I'm starting to think that maybe Layla's a little bit more tougher than we think. Like she has some type of military background or
Mm-hmm.
something with that kind of martial arts training. I think that was pretty epic.
Right,
Also,
right.
it was interesting how Arthur Harrow came through and he kind of jaded uh, the view there with the tomb, and I thought that was interesting as well.
Yeah.
That that was the first time we really see him use a deceitful image to kind of influence someone else, right?
Yeah, I was quite uh surprised, like the way he was lying to the gods, and the gods didn't figure it out. I know um they basically feel that he's just a guy, like he's not being controlled, he has no magic or anything, he's just a dude. So that whatever Ahmed is doing is really good, because the gods didn't know. They're just like, hey, this guy's telling the truth. He's just a normal guy. He said he was outside in the sand, right? And I don't know why they believed him, but they did. And the one other god, I forgot her name. I think she's skeptical of what's going on. That's why she was willing to help Mark and stuff like that. So, yeah, it was quite interesting how he just, like, he was lying and stuff like that in front of the gods. And I mean, but he did tell the truth about how broken and how screwed up Mark Spector and Steven is, right? He was telling the truth, and Mark actually admitted it. He was like, yeah, I need help. There's something wrong with me, right? So there is that. But he was saying, he still doesn't, he's still the evil guy here. I may need help, but he's still doing some crazy stuff. We need to get in front of this quick. So yeah, yeah. And they're like, it's over, right? Kanji, you do something again, bro, it's over. Like, we're getting tired of you. You almost exposed us once. Remember they were talking about that, where he did something that exposed the gods, well, almost exposed them, and they were not happy about that. So I wonder what that was. I know there's a backstory to that. I wish, there was an episode to sort of explain, like, show some of that stuff, but I don't know if they're going to dive too deep into some of the past. And unless there's a filler episode, where they just go back and they fill that in, and then they fill in sort of like how Mark became, how Khonshu became, how Khonshu got Mark the Moon Knight outfit and all that, and how he created the split personalities and stuff like that. But as we turn into split personalities, it seems like one more has showed up. The
Mm-hmm.
cab driver, Mr. Jake Lockley. So if Jake shows up, there is a third personality, right? And we all know Jake is the cabbie, the cab driver. Jake must looks like Jake got some fighting skills because on the roof, they chase the guys down. Steven takes over, has them going to the airport. They going rewinding a little bit. Steven, Mark chases them down again, gets beat up, gets knocked out. Next thing you know, everyone's dead before the kid commits suicide. And uh, Mark is like, Steven, what did you do? Steven's like, it wasn't me, it was you. And Mark's like, no, it wasn't me. All right, who was it then? Right? Who's the third party? Like, who's the other person that's jumping in on this on this personalities thing? And we already know Mark Spector. Well, yeah, Mark Spector has multiple personalities. So, is it Jake? Is the cab driver? Ooh, does he get his own suit too?
Yep.
Something we haven't seen before. I don't know. I mean, it could be something. I'm excited to see. So yeah. How did you feel about that third personality? It's sort of they just like added it in there. A lot of people didn't catch it.
No, and I didn't catch it until you actually brought it up. But now it's really interesting because a lot of times with the shows that Marvel does, there's like little clues, right? Little clues to things that bring up a bigger picture. So the one of the clues in this was the he was in the cab in the beginning, remember? So
Mhm.
and the other personality is the cab driver. So now I'm wondering,
All right.
like, is he gonna we might see this personality throughout the series a little bit more, right? Especially if there's
Right.
cabs in this part of Egypt, so it's a real interesting twist that they put in here. It throws me off, honestly, because I didn't catch it, Paris.
Yeah. A lot of
I'm
people didn't catch it, but there is a third personality, folks. So if you haven't seen Moon Knight yet, or if you've seen that scene, talk about it in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts about that part of the scene. Who, and then also tell us who do you think it is? Is it Jake? Is it someone else? You might have to go to Marvel.com and look up characters and type in Moon Knight and to go to M Comics profile and then read the profile to see all the other multiple personalities that he's had. He has an AKA. There's a few other ones. So I'm betting it's the cab driver because they sort of set it up. He's in the cab, just like you said. So hey, you never know. Would be pretty cool for him to show up. Not sure how in depth they're gonna have him go with a couple episodes left. Where we're going on episode 4, and there's 6 in the season. So yeah, I'm super excited. Um, I'm glad we rewound and talked about that because that's a huge piece to this puzzle that's continuing, and we're getting they're starting to solve it a little bit, but then we're getting more fragments that we got to find out like what's going on. So I love
Yeah.
the direction of the show. It's like everything's just not in place right away, right? So it's so awesome to see.
And something too that interests me a lot as we get further into the series is that Mark is starting to learn to work with Steven, and Steven's starting to learn to work with Mark. It's like the other half of his brain. One knows all about the archaeology and the Egyptian lore and the
Mm-hmm.
culture, and Mark is the vigilante side where he's like, he doesn't know any about that, but he can certainly,
He can dish it
defend
out.
himself, right? So I thought that was interesting because that takes us to the desert scene. Uh, and Mark calls upon Steven to rebuild the astral map of the star, the puzzle, and he rebuilds it. And he's looking at the stars, and Layla's trying to help him. It just doesn't align, right? It
Right.
doesn't align. So what does Kanji do, Paris? What does Kanji do?
Conchu breaks the rules again. He already did it once with the sky and the moon and all that stuff. So, and they gave him that warning.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So Conchu takes the sky, right, and then he's like, I know that day. I know. Well, he says, I know that night, or I know every night, or something like that to that effect. And then he just started rewinding the nights to make sure all the stars align. Like it was crazy. Like, oh, this dude has these. How is he able to do that? Um, that easy, right? And without causing a stir, right? Then after he does it, it doesn't. I don't know. Does it automatically go back to what it is now? Like, so just imagine if you're a stargazer. You're like, everything's messed up, right? The entire
Yeah.
galaxy is like all moved. You're like, whoa, no, this isn't right. So Yeah, there's some. I don't know if it's a little plot hole-ish stuff going on there, but maybe it's they align it and then maybe it just automatically goes back to what it's supposed to be now after they were finished. But they didn't show it sort of like unrewinding back. So who knows? Maybe that's a cue for something else.
Yeah.
You know?
And
Huh.
then because of that, well, I mean, it could bring the variance, right? It could cause some type of variant
Nexus event.
time, yeah, nexus event, right? So it's very possible. But
Yeah.
the one thing I was sad to see in this episode was when Khonshu did that, and all the gods knew something was going on because you could see the sky change.
Mhm.
And then Arthur Harrow was in the car, and he's like, "Oh, Khonshu, you did it to
Mhm.
yourself."
Yep.
And they summoned the spell to put him anchored down to the Pyramid of Giza.
Yeah.
And I feel bad for Khonshu. Like nobody likes that guy out of all the guys. They just don't like him. He's like they think he's a troublemaker.
Right, right. Whatever he did in the past must have really, really made everyone mad because they were like, "Hey, you almost had us exposed once, bro. Like, nah, we can't have this happen again. Like, you're just a loose cannon out there doing all this stuff. We don't know what's going on." But that's sort of the weird thing is like all these things are going on and they just don't care anymore. They're sort of like, "Hey, we're gods. We're not going to meddle with puny human things anymore, events, unless there's some major destruction." But they sort of try to they pull the Eternals thing. Like, what's this? what's this thing about not meddling into human events anymore? Like the Eternals did the same thing. We got the Egyptian gods doing the same thing. I think in Black Panther, their thing. So, you know, it's interesting to see like all these mythical um, beings not participating in our events other than Thor and Odin and things like that. So yeah, it's quite interesting. I love the direction. You're like the Khonshu stuck in the stone, and Haro walks up, just basically saying, "Bro, you're my greatest sin." Basically, all that's my greatest sin. So whatever powers he has, I don't know. I don't know how he has this connection to Amit. Maybe she got to him after Khonshu let him go and chose a new avatar or something like that. So yeah, it's so much in this show that we could talk about, and I love it. And the way that they're just executing on the keep you guessing that you can't really spoil it because of off trailers, right? You can't do any of that. So I'm loving it. Marvel has done a great job with all their series, and they're continuing on with Moon Knight for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And now I wonder, where are the gods? Where are all these deities at? Are they on another planet? Did they move to different planets and they just phone home through their avatars? Like I'm
Mhm.
curious. And I still think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Paris, I'm probably gonna say the name wrong. So I apologize if I do. But Gore the God Hunter,
mm,
I
Thor.
think
Yeah.
I think somehow he's gonna be involved in this.
Mm,
And I was seeing I got to go back online. Maybe I'll post this in the comments when I find it.
yeah.
But there was some type of crossover between Gore the God Hunter and Moon Knight in a comic book somewhere. So that alludes me to believe all the stars being moved, the Nexus event. You know, Gore the God Hunter might see the stars move, and maybe he's gonna be like, "Oh, another god to hunt."
Yeah. Yeah. Or a group of gods, right? Because
Yeah,
he wants them all. Like this is like he hunts gods, and that's what he does. Thor. In the comics, well, he hunted everyone, but Thor, and he never killed Thor or anything like that. But it's quite interesting to see how they brought him into this scenario. And what's going to be in for Thor 4. And then we've got all these gods and stuff meddling in human events. So maybe that's the reason why they didn't want to meddle in human events. So maybe they know that this crazy, what is he, a symbiote? He was the first symbiote, right? From King Black.
yes,
Yeah, yeah. So he's like a symbiote. He's comes from them. So who knows, right? We go symbiote. We're talking about Venom. We're talking about, man, just the whole King in Black, like it just will continue, and that's what Marvel is so fantastic at. Like, they can pull any direction based off the source material and take a little bit here, take a little bit there, and just bringing it into a show or a movie like Multiverse of Madness. Like, what does Moon Knight, all the stuff going on in Moon Knight, have to do with the Multiverse of Madness? Because there is a correlation between them, right? We're talking about gods and all this stuff, and Blade, and then the Eternals at the end with the Black Knight, about to touch the sword, and then Blade showing up, telling them, "Hey, are you sure you want to do that?" Just the whole thing. I don't. I know we're not probably going to get another Avengers movie, which is fine with me, but to me, it seems like we're going. Man, it just keeps on going. That train keeps on moving. The Sons of Midnight, the Sons of Midnight, folks. It just that train keeps on moving towards that, which would be just so epic to see if we're able to get them all in a movie together, like come together like the Avengers, but in a mythical creature fighting bad demons and nightmares and stuff like that. So I am all for that. Sons of Midnight. You heard it here first, folks. Well, I think I said it last
Yes.
week in our episode 2 review, but you heard it here live. This time we're doing live. So let us know your thoughts. Sons of Midnight. Is it something that you want to see happen in the MCU? I think I do. Just because, we've had
Oh
the
yeah.
Avengers for multiple movies and stuff like that. So it'd be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
this the possible tie-ins, Paris. I'm excited. I can't wait to episode 4. That
Yeah.
man, this series is killing it for me. To me, it's my favorite Marvel series right now. Marvel
Yeah.
series on TV that I can watch in Disney Plus.
Mhm.
Perfect time to hop in Disney Plus. If you're watching this, you don't have Disney Plus yet. It's definitely worth trying out. See if
Mhm.
you like it. A lot of great content there. But
Yeah.
um, so Paris, before we get out of here, you want to tell people where they can find
Yeah,
you?
yeah. Before I go, I want to just bring up one more point. Magipur, the city that was in Falcon and Winter Soldier, they brought that up when Layla was talking to security guy, and it looks like she's had some stuff going on in there. When they were talking about art and Falcon and Winter Soldier, where the power broker, she was saying that, oh yeah, we have all the originals. Everybody else has the fakes. So she was stealing stuff and doing all sorts of dirty deals to get the art and to get stuff. So I wonder the stuff that Layla was doing in Marjapur, its sort of intersection with Moon Knight. It was good to see how the connections are starting to sort of branch out and how they connect these shows together, which is awesome. So we know really Moon Knight is in this universe. It's not sort of like a variant Moon Knight. It's not somewhere else in the universe, on like another Earth, or something like that. So now we know for sure that it's all together. So I like that, which I never doubted that, but now it seems more likely because the art and all that stuff that she was doing and she backstabbed the guy. But yeah, it's good. I love it. If you didn't catch episode 3, go watch it. Um, Everyone, you can find me at PLock 77 on Twitter. You can find me at one of the largest Marvel Facebook fan groups, Marvel Cinematic Universe. We have over 500,000 members, so go check us out there. Just join the group. You'll get join the group and jump into the conversations. Where I think in a few more hours we'll be allowing people to talk about Moon Knight, because we have a 24-hour sort of post that you can talk about it with each other, but we don't want to spoil it for everyone else. But then after that, we let it open so people can post all their theories and everything they want in the group. So it's great. There is no bad theories unless it is a bad theory, right? So yeah, that's where you can find me at.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, and like Paris said, the group is large, lots of people talking, and it's a great place to talk and meet fellow Marvel fans as well. Lots of rumors, theories go on there. Sometimes even cosplay pictures,
Yeah,
artistic
cosplay,
pictures,
art.
all of it, man.
You got a few movie stars in there, a few people from the industry. So yeah, come check us out over there. It's awesome. Um,
Yeah,
professional comic book creation artists in there. So yeah, it's cool when they share stuff and folks are attached to Marvel Studios and stuff like that. So it's awesome.
absolutely. Well, everybody can find me on 4GQ TV every Thursday for our regular show. You can find me on the MCU after show as well, where we talk about lots of media, entertainment, comics, movies, TV shows, all the good stuff that everybody loves to watch when they're,
Yes.
yeah. And there's
Yeah,
so
we'll
much
be
content.
yeah,
Yes.
our Halo. We're doing a Halo review too. Also, we're doing a Halo series review. So check us out there too. Come, like, look at our episodes on the page on the 4GQTV page for the folks that are tuned in right now. You can see our previous reviews of episode 1 and episode 2, and then you can go watch our Halo episode 1 2 review. We have to do episode 3. Did we already do 3? We did 3. Yeah, we did
No,
3. No, we
no,
haven't did 3. Yeah.
no.
So we need to do our episode 3 review. Yeah.
Yeah. So until next time, see everybody later.
Peace.